Welcome. We are back and better than ever. This Dude Sports Show. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, we're here on a Thursday, a rainy Thursday. My boy Mitch on the ones and twos. It's great to be back. Before I start, I'm going to do a quick prayer. Father God, thank you for your grace and mercy. You give us another week, another day. Thank you for protecting our kids, our family on the outside. And thank you for letting us be able to go home safely at night. Your word is to be praised. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. We're back and better than ever. And there's a lot to talk about. You got football on the horizon. You got the Dolphins on the horizon. It's a lot to talk about, man. But let's get right into it. First things first. Let's get into something that I've had in mind throughout the week and certain things that I wanted to say. Dolphins look good, man. The Dolphins look good, man. I'm going to say it again. The Dolphins look good, man. And usually, every year, my mindset is like, I'm a wait and see type of guy. I want to wait and see. And this is the first year, guys. This is the first year where, because the reason why I say that, every year, we going to the Super Bowl. We making the playoffs. Man, look at this, look at that. And after that, we lay an egg. This year is the first year that I'm exuding my confidence from day one. This is the first year where, I'm going to say it right now, man. If we don't make it, if Tua's healthy, there's always a caveat. But if Tua is healthy, and we don't make the conference championship this season is a failure. Now, a lot of people will probably be like, yeah, but what about all these other players? What about all these other teams and whatnot? What makes your team more superior than the Dolphins? Listen, man. This past preseason game, I don't know if you noticed, when Tua, his first ever time under center since being knocked out of the season with concussions, his first play ever was a pick. When he came back, I'm talking about we was marching down the field, man. I'm talking about nickels and dimes all over the place, man. Raining nickels and dimes all over the place, man. And I kid you not, man. I'm excited. This is the first season where I'm excited, man, in a long time. I haven't been excited for a season in a long time, man, as a Dolphins fan, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. If things shake up the way I wanted to shake up, I'm probably gonna go to a couple games this year, man. I'm probably gonna go to a couple games this year, man. And listen, if Tua is healthy, you know what? I'm going through this through the schedule right now. Let's really delve into these wins and losses right here. Let's be realistic. Let's really get into the schedule right here, man. Week 1. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, the NFL. One thing about the NFL, man. The NFL. There's a thing that my wife always say. What's the word? Women zen. My wife always tell that to me. I've been women zen toi. Women zen. These are women zen comme ça. Right? If you don't know what zen means, meaning like drama, rumors, etc. Right? My wife is like, man, Alvin, you like drama. You nosy. You always want to know what's going on. Mind your business. Right? Hey, man. I am a journalist. I'm saying I'm a journalist, man. What do journalists do? We seek information. We seek to find out the real truth. We try to find out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So now, something go down, Mitch. I'm not the first one to be like, hey, Mitch, what happened with this? What happened with that? I'm not the first person doing that, bro. Mm-hmm. I heard this, I heard that. Oh, yeah? No. Eh bien. Ano kebe ni ano puye. Ano puye susai. You know what I'm saying? I'm the first one. I'm not saying Mitch gives me the information whenever I ask. But I do ask. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I've been women zen. Now, one thing about the NFL, they love drama. They want drama. Right? Because why? Drama brings eyeballs. Eyeballs gives them more money. Right? And the more eyeballs, the more money. More drama, more TV money. Right? Now, one thing I love about the NFL, there's a lot to love about the NFL, there's a lot to hate about the NFL. But what this part right here, I love about the NFL, which is what? I love NFL scheduling, man. I don't know who's in that department or whatnot, but the one thing about NFL is that they come together. I'm pretty sure I would love to be part of this the committee or whoever, or the inside of who does that. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a group of people that just sits down, hey, put this team together. You know why? Because of this, that, and the third. Because this person needs to be here. Because that person needs to be there. Because last year they played there. because that person could have drafted that one instead of that one. Drama. Right? The Dolphins, last year, one of the most anticipated games last year was Dolphins and Chargers. Why was that? The reason why was because the Miami Dolphins had the opportunity to draft Justin Herbert, but we didn't. We stuck to our guns and picked Tua. Right? Mind you, there was a little bit of skepticism by choosing Tua. Right? Tua just came from major hip surgery. We didn't even know if Tua was going to be, if that hip was going to affect his career. But we still went ahead and chose Tua. Even though you had Justin Herbert from Oregon on the board. We could have just said, you know what? The hip situation is too iffy. We don't know. Man, it's a risk. We're going to go ahead and get Justin Herbert instead of Tua Tagovailoa. Which would have been understandable. Right? But Miami Dolphins stuck to their guns and said, you know what? Let's pick Tua anyways. It was a boom or bust pick. Boom. He's healthy. He's good. We're off to the sunset. Boom. He's not healthy. His hip didn't heal up. He can't play. We're back to the worst team in the league. So now, what happens? What happened is what they didn't expect. Justin Herbert goes to the Chargers, and boom, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And everybody's looking at Dolphins like with eyeballs. You know that eyeball emoji when something going on in the group chat, and then you like, what the heck? All of a sudden, you just send an eyeball emoji like, you looking? Like, you know what I'm saying? And now Justin Herbert, all of a sudden, he becomes one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now everybody has their eyeballs looking at the Dolphins like, uh-oh, I think you guys made a mistake. You guys drafted who over this guy? Over Justin Herbert? And mind you, we over here, Tua over here, in the Miami Dolphins with the Miami Dolphins, and he's still learning the game and still trying to develop into what his potential can be. Now, fast forward, Tua's great, Justin Herbert's great. Right? The Dolphins scheduled Los Angeles Chargers versus the Miami Dolphins last year. And it was one of the games of the year because guess what? Miami Dolphins got Tua. Chargers got Justin Herbert. It could have easily been the other way around. Right? So now for the Dolphins, we're looking at it like, okay, right? Our quarterback versus our quarterback that we got instead of Herbert. Let's see if he can step up and win this battle. It was pretty much a quarterback battle of who is better, right? And of course, for the time being, the Chargers won, right? And all of a sudden, everybody's like, man, you know, Justin Herbert, he's better, stuff like that. Now, after that, for the time being, Justin Herbert won that battle. Now everybody looking at the Dolphins like, man, y'all should have picked Herbert. Y'all should have picked Herbert. Then we went on to have a situation where Tua turned into someone who can't stay on the field when it comes to head injuries. Now, fast forward. Tua's back. Fast forward. He's learned jiu-jitsu. He's learned how to fall, guys. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it that last year, new head coach, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and all these other players on the defensive end, on the offensive end, right? I'm talking about, there was a point in time Tua was considered an MVP candidate, man. Top 3 MVP candidate. Then all of a sudden, the Cincinnati Bengals game happened, and we know what happened after that. Right? Fast forward, he's healthy. Fast forward, he's ready to go. Right? Now, we didn't know. We were like, man, is he still going to be the same Tua? After that interception against Houston, and he came back for a couple more series, man, he was on point, man. On point. Now that I see what I needed to see, I'm on board, man. And not only I see what I needed to see, I seen him get hit, and he applied his new falling routine. Did you guys see him get hit? I saw him get hit. And when he got hit, he kept his head up. His body fell to the ground, but his head did not whiplash. And that's a very, very, very encouraging. Right? Now, that's great to see. Right? Another thing, before we get into the scheduling, to see what it is going to look like, what Miami Dolphins schedule record will realistically be. Right? We have some drama, a little bit of drama in training camp, man. Right? And I said this, man. Like, I don't know. Like, Christian Wilkins, man. Christian Wilkins. And before, Christian Wilkins is like, man, I'm going, even though I'm due for a contract extension, I'm coming into camp. Right? Now, he has decided. At first, he was like, "I'm coming into camp. I'm doing this. I'm gonna be. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna be a team player and come in, even though I didn't get paid yet." I don't know what happened, but now he's changed his tune. Now he's decided to hold out, man. Right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, he deserves that deal. And at the end of the day, man, it's come to a point where NFL, yeah, we a team player, whatnot. It's about the team. It's all about the team and whatnot. I love the coaches. I love you. But at the end of the day, it's about that bag. It's about providing for your family. It's about them bills. It's about your kids going to good schools and whatnot. Right? Am I right? Now, he's decided to hold out. Story from the SI.com. It's from Omar Kelly. Shout out to Omar Kelly now with SI, man. That's big moves, big moves. I used to follow Omar Kelly since he was with the Miami Herald. Big moves. I really like when people elevate. That's what it's all about. Right? It says Christian Wilkins playing hardball with the Dolphins, entering second week of hold-in. Dolphins defensive tackle Christian Wilkins has sat out last week of team drills while his agent pushes for a multi-year extension. How do you reward the player who has done everything your organization had asked of him? Christian Wilkins is the first player in the Miami Dolphins building each morning, and he's usually the last one out. The Dolphins' 2019 first-round pick has gotten better each and every season, setting a franchise record for tackles from a defensive lineman last season. And the hope is that he'll be even more impactful in Vic Fangio's new scheme this year. He's involved in the community, a team leader, and tone setter for numerous years, and one of the most durable players on the roster. Outside of that foul mouth of his, which Wilkins routinely uses to abuse his opponents, the former Clemson standout has been a model citizen, a productive starter, and should be viewed as a foundational piece for this franchise. Problem is, the Dolphins aren't treating him like one. Miami has refusing to give Wilkins a contract extension that compensates him like his peers, putting him in the $18 to $20 million a year pay range for the next 3 seasons. And sources say the two sides aren't close to getting a deal done, with the regular seasons start approaching in 3 weeks. That explains why Wilkins is beginning his second week of hold-in, refusing to take a snap on 11-11 drills. An injury will be the excuse given for his non-participation in the physical part of practice. But from Wilkins' standpoint, why should he put himself at risk of suffering injury during these 2 weeks of joint practice for a franchise that won't provide him peace of mind and financial security. Sidebar, this is what Coach Mike McDaniel said. He said this is part of the business that a lot of teams are dealing with. Wilkins addressed his desire for a new deal. I definitely feel like I've done enough and done a lot to earn a new deal, which he does and he has, and a new contract. And Wilkins said earlier this month in his one chat with the media during training camp, I'm just focusing on ball and improving every day and just giving my all to this organization. Hopefully they'll give their all back to me. Wilkins could be like the San Francisco 49ers pass rusher who is in an identical position, asked to play on his 5th-year option. Bosa has skipped training camp till the deal gets done. Chiefs All-Pro defensive tackle Chiefs All-Pro defensive tackle Chris Jones is doing the same thing until his deal gets reworked. Those hardline stances will cost them $50,000 in fines per day. Wilkins is too financially responsible or cheap to take such a hard line. But that doesn't mean he's not bothered by Dolphins' stalling tactics. What he's doing is sitting out these practices is a nice way of following cornerback Xavier Howard's path when he has showed up to Miami 2021 training camp demanding a trade and sat out practices before Miami worked his contract. Howard and the Dolphins found common ground. Wilkins hoped that the Dolphins and his camp will too. Dolphins have options to retain Christian Wilkins. Wilkins has made it clear he hopes to remain with the Dolphins, but that likely depends on the respect level the franchise shows him with their offer. Miami could force him to play on his 5th-year option, which is worth $10.7 million, and then place a franchise tag on him next year, committing him to pay him another $21 to $22 million. But that would put more strain on this complicated relationship and Miami's salary cap, which is already $32 million over the projected 2024 budget. I am big on respecting the game, so it's my job to carry that torch for those Warren Sapps, those Vince Wilforks, all those guys that I grew up watching and learning from them. I have responsibility. So I love that we've been able to do as a position for the game, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. Most players despise playing on a contract that expires at the end of the season because they assume all the risk. Football is a violent game, especially in the trenches, which is where Wilkins plays. The ball is designed to bounce in unexpected ways, and as a result of the unexpected often happens, sometimes the unexpected result in season-ending injuries like cornerback Nick Needham suffered last season while playing on an expiring contract. Without an extension, Needham was at the mercy of the Miami Dolphins, which graciously brought him back to rehab his Achilles tendon at half of his 2022 salary. Needham is living through every NFL player's nightmare, and the only avenue they have to avoid is to apply pressure when it's time to handle the business at the end of this brutal sport. That is what Wilkins is doing now, attempting to strong-arm the Dolphins to give him a $100 million deal like his his contemporaries received this offseason. What Wilkins must decide is what happens if Miami Dolphins decision makers don't budge, refuse to sweeten their seemingly below market offer outside of pouting. What leverage does he have that can encourage the Dolphins to sweeten the deal? Wilkins can't turn to his teammates for sympathy, considering there's a dozen impending free agents who are envious of his position, considering Miami raised his salary from $2.6 million last year to $10.7 million, which is a byproduct of triggering his fifth-year option. That's 3 times what Wilkins' fellow starting defensive tackle Zach Sealer, $3 million, and nearly 5 times what Raquan Davis, who is making $1.4 million, will collect. And the Dolphins likely won't threaten to use the franchise tag in 2024 to ensure they don't test likely won't threaten to use the franchise tag on them in 2024 to ensure they don't test the free agent market. So from their vantage point, Wilkins is in an envious position. Since all the impending free agents are jockeying for the same $13 million in cap space, an extension for Wilkins will come at their own expense. The Dolphins can't afford to pay everyone in this belt-tightening era that approaches. A Miami young roster grows older and more expensive. Each decision comes with a consequence, and many of those consequences will leave scars. If I continue to be humble and do right by the game, I'm really big on respecting the game and doing right by the game. And if you do that, the football gods will always bless you, Wilkins said. So that's kind of my approach, and that's how I approach it each and every day. Wow. That's from Omar Kelly of the Sports Illustrated. In my opinion, they need to pay this man. What's the big deal? What's going on? Like, I'm starting to have a problem with the NFL and certain NFL organizations, man, when it comes to situations like this. I understand if there are certain trepidations when it comes to paying certain players. I get it. But there shouldn't be any trepidation with Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins has gotten better and better every year he's been on that team. And for you to be playing hardball, causing this man to not be in training camp because he is forced to sit out because the financial security you are not giving him is flat out wrong. My mindset is like this with these NFL organizations. With these NFL organizations, you are quick to cut and ask somebody who is not playing to their potential a restructured contract. But you're never quick to give somebody who is deserving of a raise. They always have to come to a point of pretty much putting a gun towards the organization and threatening not to play in a holdout for any organization, front office to even budge to give a raise. Right? Nick Bosa of San Francisco 49ers? Like, clearly, he's one of the best linebackers in the league. Every time he plays, he's always making an impact. Always with a sack. Always giving pressures, play after play. What is the trepidation? What is the problem? What is holding back this front office in San Francisco from giving Nick Bosa an extension? He's clearly one of the best linebackers in the league. Top five. Right? What's the problem? I don't understand. But if you quit to bring him to the office and tell him, listen, you got to restructure your contract or we're going to cut you. We can't pay you at that rate based on your play or we're going to cut you. So now you force that player to restructure their contract. Such as Joe Mixon, running back for the Cincinnati Bengals this year. I'm pretty sure they brought him to the office and said, listen, you got to restructure your contract or you're going to get cut. So my thing is like this. You are so ready to cut players and take their money away, but you're never ready to pony up what the person deserves. Nick Bosa deserves his money. The Kansas City Chiefs, Chris Jones, he's already had 3 contract extensions. But their mindset is like, after 3 contract extensions, Chris Jones will eventually level off as a defensive player. But he's done the opposite. He's still been one of the best defensive players in his league. And his mindset is, listen, at market value, I'm underpaid. I'm one of the best defensive tackles in this league. Why am I not being paid as such? I want my money. I don't know if you know this commercial where they say it's J.G. Wentworth. It's my money and I need it now. Then another one says, it's my money and I need it now. Then someone else says, it's my money and I need it now. Then he says, it's J.G. Wentworth. It's your money. Use it when you need it. But what about these NFL teams out there? It's their money and they want it now. Right? Same thing. This is sidebar. And I'm not going to get into that. Too much drama. I ain't finna get into that. Right? But all I'm saying is, it's their money. They need it now. Christian Wilkins, it's his money. And he needs it now. Bro, man, we have an opportunity for the first time in a long time, since 1972, we have an opportunity to finally contend with a competent team for the Super Bowl. In the last 10, 15 years, how many times Miami has hosted a Super Bowl? At least 2 or 3 times, right, Mitch? Mm-hmm. We've had a Super Bowl down here in Miami at least 2 or 3 times. Right?
I think so, yeah.
None of them are with the Miami Dolphins. None. This is the first time in a while where we have a team on the field that could potentially compete to make the Super Bowl. We have no time to be dealing with one of the best players on our defense holding out. Pay him his money so he can get back on the practice field to get better. So we can play all these teams at optimal level. If we end up in a situation where we are not playing what we need to, on par that we should be playing defensively, it's the front office's fault. Why I say that? You see this ahead of time. You saw this ahead of time. You see that you are going to be in a position where you're going to have to eventually pay Christian Wilkins' money. You see in the future where you're going to be in a position where you're going to have to eventually pay Tua Tagovailoa his money. Tua Tagovailoa is going to be needing. He's going to be, if he plays well this year and stays healthy, he's going to be asked to play. He's going to be asked to be paid $300 million, man. You have to prepare ahead of time for stuff like that, man. You can't tell me that you weren't in a situation, you weren't in a juncture where you did not see this coming with Christian Wilkins coming to a point where he felt like his security, his health and his financial security was in jeopardy to the point where he felt like he had to hold out. You try to tell me you did not see this coming? I call BS. Dolphins, man. You can't mess this up. Because one thing I do see, I see all the players out there on the field trying to get better. I see Xavier out there on that field trying to get better. I see Tua on that field out there trying to get better. I see Jalen Water out there on that field trying to get better. I see Tyreek Hill out there on that field trying to get better. I see Teron Armstead out there on that field trying to get better. Right? I see Nick Chubb out there trying to get better. I see the offensive line out there trying to get better. The defensive line out there trying to get better. Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator, with all the years of him being a defensive coordinator, all the years being on certain staffs, year in and year on, trying to get better. Mike McDaniel, second-year head coach, trying to get better. They're all trying to get better. And you, over there in the front office, eating fried chicken, not paying the man his money, causing this man not to be on the field to get better. Dolphins, front office, Chris Greer, do not mess this up, man. This is the first year in a long time, man, where, off the rip, we have a team on the field that can contend with the best of them. Stop playing these games, man. Everybody's out there trying to get better. We haven't had a Super Bowl in Miami since I was born, before I was born. Since before a lot of people have been born. It's time for you to pony up that money, man. Bring him in, give him his contract so he can get back on that field so he can get better. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of these games, man. The NFL. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of these games, man. You get to a point where the business has overshadowed everything, and it shouldn't be. Granted, business is business, but business is involved with people. There should be some form of compassion at a certain level, right? And for the NFL, business is booming. Business is the best it's ever been. So why do you have your 32 teams out there penny pinching as if they're trying to survive, trying to make it day by day to be in business? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? Why do you have 32 of your NFL franchises penny pinching as if they are struggling to open the doors? What's the problem? What is the problem? Right? When you're taking this money away for certain individuals for underperforming, we understand it. We don't say anything. We're like, you know what? He wasn't playing the way he should be playing. We get it. But if a player is overplaying his contract, it's time for you to step up and do your part. These players out there on that field, they're doing their part, man. They're getting better. They're getting better. Front office. Chris Greer, when are you going to do your part? When are you going to do your part? And the crazy part about it is, man, I did not even know Nick Nina was on an expiring contract when he got hurt, man. Man, he hurt his Achilles. Nick Nina was balling out of his behind. And he tore his Achilles. One of the worst injuries anybody could have on their foot, man. You damn near can't walk. Gotta learn to walk again when you tear your Achilles, man. And you trying to tell me he was in a contract year and he didn't hold out. He played, trying to get better towards Achilles. And now he's out. He was out of receiving his financial security for his family. You brought him back on 50% of his salary when he was supposed to get the bag? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. Let's stop this, man. The same way you give somebody the bag, if he is at a point where he's not playing and performing the way he's supposed to perform within his contract, all I know, you're going to bring him back to your office and be like, hey, man, you're not playing. It's been a couple of years. You haven't been playing up to par. You're going to need some of that money back. Okay, if you get it, you give me that money, give me some of that money back, we're going to be forced to cut you. All right, what the player going to do? He's going to give the money back. So, what's going on, guys? What's going on? It's time for the Dolphins to step up, man. Don't mess this up, man. Give the man his money and have him get back on that field because we need him to get better. This is Dude Sports Show. Thank you for tuning in on Hosanna Radio. Thank you for tuning in on the Dude Sports Show on Facebook Live. And also thank you for also downloading my podcast on Apple and Spotify. We'll be right back. This is the Dude Sports Show. Thank you for tuning in.